we're going to switch gears and talk a little softball. On the line right now, first appearance on the program, representing Israel softball, Maiya Chard-Yaron. Maiya, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, you have quite the accomplished pedigree. You were obviously a letter winner at Columbia, but before we get to Columbia, you played in the Maccabi games. Tell us a bit how that prepares you for success in college softball when, you've done so well at Columbia.
Sure, thanks so much. My participation in the Maccabi and with the Israel softball program in general began while I was still in college, and it's continued after. And so really it's a different face of a game that I love and that I've been playing since I'm a child. I grew up in Southern California, hotbed of softball, went through the travel league ranks, was playing in college, and then had this opportunity to go to Israel to play. And as an Israeli American, had been to Israel several times and didn't even know that softball existed there. And it really was this opportunity to combine the two things I'm probably most passionate about in my life, which is Israel and Judaism and softball together. So it really, kind of gave it was a very different kind of tournament, going and being in the Maccabi, which I've had the opportunity to do 3 times, and the chance to meet Jewish athletes, Jewish softball players from the United States and Argentina and Canada, as well as my teammates in Israel, obviously, just really added, personally, a different sort of layer to the experience of being a softball player, which I've been doing, most of my life.
And as a member of the national women's team, you played in 6 European championship tournaments. What's that like when you're on the world stage, you're representing Israel, and you're in Europe, which, sometimes is not so friendly to Israel. So wanted to get your perspective on that experience.
Sure, it's a great question. So, we began competing in the European Championship in 2003, and at that time we were really building the women's national program. There were, a couple of us who were dual citizens who had played collegiately in the United States, and mostly those women from Israel who had discovered softball, were introduced to softball, relatively recently. And we were really building from the ground up and getting that first taste of international experience. Oftentimes we play against programs whose players are paid professionally. We're playing in, very highly competitive leagues year-round. And that first year was sort of the learning experience and the springboard. But from 2003 to 2007, we managed to jump up 8 places in the ranks of the B pool in the European Championships, which we were in at that time, qualifying for the A pool after that. And, I think for me, again, it was playing on the world stage. I mean, there's some ways there's more at stake. Everyone's wearing their country's name on their chest. There's a pride element that's involved very deeply. But I think what's wonderful is that we've had the opportunity to meet and connect with softball players from Poland and Germany and Denmark and the Netherlands and everywhere. And I'll say that, generally speaking, we've had very positive experiences in the softball environment in Europe. We've also had, I think, some interesting educational opportunities to just, when you meet someone personally and players from other countries who ask us, what's it like to live in Israel? What's it like to serve in the IDF? For my teammates, and most of my teammates have served in the IDF. And it adds a different element also to building bridges and really showing European softball world, what Israelis are like, what Israel is all about. So it's definitely a very special experience. In addition to being competitive and really fun, last summer we were in Prague and we had the chance to watch teams like Italy and the Netherlands and Great Britain and Russia play, who just finished competing in the World Championships this past week. And to be able to see that level of play, which is not often in Israel, that Israeli softball players get exposed to that, is just such a great opportunity to build the sport in Israel and to really bring that back with us to Israel and into the work that a lot of my colleagues and my coaches are doing with youth leagues and camps in Israel.
We're going to speak with Maiya Chard-Yaron here on Louis Slavin Ladies Night. Now, that obviously is very impressive, what you did, the work with the national team, but I want to talk about what you did at Columbia. In your senior year, all Ivy League honors, and I find this so great. You batted .347 and you pitched a no-hitter. So that's pretty cool. Tell us about that experience.
Sure. So I love my alma mater. I love Columbia. Through my first 3 years there, I was primarily an outfielder and a leadoff hitter. I was pitching in the summers for Israel. I was sort of a utility pitcher. In my senior year, because of some personnel changes on the team, my coach said, Maiya, we're really going to need you to pitch a lot more this year. And, as a senior, you want to feel very settled in what you've already been able to do. So it was a huge shift for me to be pitching more. But I kind of went into it knowing it was going to be my last year playing collegiate softball. I knew I'd have the chance to continue playing in Israel, but it was a very special season. And it was a season of perspective, just that, none of the little things really mattered. That sometimes happened on teams. It was all about, playing the game, enjoying the game, putting everything out there. And, we had a great team that year. I was hitting the ball well, sort of consistently having just a ton of fun, which I think was a key factor there. And then, being thrown into the D1 pitching circuit as a senior to be a regular pitcher was a challenge, and it was a huge team accomplishment, that no-hitter. It was definitely, actually the day before that game, I had a terrible outing, got totally shelled, as we say, and I had a meeting with my pitching coach after that game, and we talked through a few adjustments and talked to my catcher, and to come out the next day and for catcher and I to really put that game together was a great feeling in a really fun season.
Was there just something special in the air? Did you drink like a special taste of Mountain Dew or something where you're like, this is my night and I'm on tonight? Did you feel something different than other pitching times?
I think I was really relaxed. I remember just being there with my catcher, not putting too much pressure, just enjoying the game. Also, to be honest, being confident that I was doing a lot of pitching on the Israeli team, and knowing that I was able to pitch that capacity and just going out there and doing it. So, yeah.
All right. And last question we have for you, obviously sports is great, but what you do outside of sports is also very important. You're the director of the educational engagement to the Maryland Hillel. And we had Tamar Katz on earlier in the show. She talks about how she uses sports to be successful outside of sports. How do you use softball to be successful with your work at the Hillel?
Oh, that's a great question. I think it's funny. My boss the other day referred to me as a utility player, which really is what I am in softball too, because I play a lot of different positions. But it just really it impacts your attitude, how you approach challenging situations. How I work with other people on our team at Maryland Hillel. Building. I thrive on competition at work, even though we have a very welcoming and fun. At Hillel, we're a very welcoming and fun workplace, but sort of similar in softball, when you have to have some inner drive pushing you to be your best in a game, that at Hillel, finding like I have an inner drive of why I do what I do, and really thriving on that in the projects I take on at work. So, but really, I think that for everyone out there who's ever played a team sport, I think it benefits you so much in the workplace with working with other people and how to work towards a common goal and manage time for yourself. I think that's a huge skill you learn as an athlete that is very applicable other parts of your life as well.
All right, Maiya, tell us about the no-hitter and trash talking at the Hillel. We just got her on tape admitting no, I'm just kidding, of course. No, I'm teasing you. I'm the competition at Hillel. I can see you book something for Shabbat. You go, no, you don't do that, obviously.
No.
Maiya, thank you so much for your time here on Ladies Night, Lewis Live Special, and we appreciate it. And have a great high holidays coming up as well.
Thank you very much. You too.
Sure. Take care.